My 12-year-old, he's just got to the stage where he's starting to ask me some tricky questions about the world, and obviously I'm supposed to come up with some facts to answer those questions, but, you know, you think 4 prime ministers in the space of 2 years. Why? Well, it started, didn't it? Boris Johnson came on national TV and he said, "I categorically state, absolutely no parties in Downing Street during lockdown." And then, of course, a few days after that, he's back on the telly when he's horrified. Absolutely horrified. He'd just found out there had been parties in Downing Street during lockdown. And then a few days after that, gobsmacked, wasn't he? Absolutely gobsmacked to find out he'd been at 6 of them. Including one for his own birthday, wasn't it? And I know a lot of people looked at Boris Johnson and they saw him there with his cone-phobic hair and his suit on back to front. And they thought, oh, it's funny. It's funny that he's the Prime Minister. And my feeling was always, it would have been funny if it wasn't our country. If it was France, wouldn't it? Oh, France, it would have been freaking hilarious. But who would have thought after Liz Truss we'd be looking back at Boris Johnson and regarding him as something of a safe pair of hands? Liz Truss, wasn't it? That was the Conservative Party scraping the dregs out of the bottom of the barrel. She was, if you like, the Bellotti beans at the back of the Conservative food cupboard, the novelty thong at the bottom of the pants drawer. If you like, when going for a wee, the little bit that trickles down the leg afterwards. She, of course, no longer an MP, lost her seat, didn't she, at the general election? And I bet Michael Portillo, he'll have stayed up to watch that one, wouldn't he? Oh, he'd have been loving that result, going, yeah, brilliant. Nobody's going to be talking about that Portillo moment anymore. I can stop going on these sodding trains. And now, of course, got new Labour government, settled the public sector pay disputes, haven't they? Because we'd had lots of strikes. We'd had rail strikes, teachers' strikes, nurses' strikes, and, of course, most recently, junior doctors' strikes. And I actually went on a junior doctors' march. Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, because it's not easy to get to see a doctor these days, is it? Oh, it's brilliant. There was hundreds of them there were. Oh, there I was, marching along, telling everybody my problems, you know. I turned round, I've got a second opinion, kept on marching. And Labour, of course, they just starting to get into their stride. You'd seen, 200,000 people, they reckon. Their homes are going to be underwater come 2050 net zero. So Labour have just lifted the ban on onshore wind. Yeah? It's the cheapest form of power now in this country. Much cheaper, of course, than offshore. The trouble with onshore, though, isn't it? Loads of people object to onshore, don't they? Yeah, but presumably by 2050, quite a lot of that onshore will be offshore. So hopefully less objections then, that's what we can hope. But there's a feeling, isn't there? There's a feeling that you can't say how you truly feel in Britain these days. Yeah, because anything controversial, everybody's getting offended by everything, aren't they? And of course being amplified by social media and comedy. Comedy has now become a battleground, hasn't it? Yeah, loads of comics attacked on stage. Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. I've been very lucky so far, ladies and gentlemen. Be quite a surprise if it happens tonight. Closest I've come to an altercation recently, right? I was in Salisbury. I was doing a gig in Salisbury. And there was 2 women, end of the second row. It's one of those group bills. Been quite a few other comics on the bill. I was on at the end. And these women seemed very drunk. They'd been shouting out a lot. upset some of the earlier comics, upset some members of the audience. So I come on at the end, I say, oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to keep it very tight tonight because I've got to catch the last train home. And one of these women shouted out, "Oh, it's all right," she said, "I'll give you a lift home." And I said, "Well, that's very sweet of you, but I don't really want my last memory on this earth being driven into a tree by two drunk women just so as I could do an extra 5 minutes on stage in Salisbury." And this one was furious, desperate to tell me that she wasn't drunk. At which point, she slipped off her chair, grabbed her table to try and save herself, didn't, pulled that over as well, banged her head on the pillar on the side, at which point her more drunk friend shouted out, "Is it all right if I catch the train home with you?" Of course not. Not only have comics been attacked, a lot of comics been cancelled, haven't they? But very few actually been cancelled for anything they've actually said on stage. One of the very few, Jerry Sadovich. He was on stage at the Edinburgh Festival, only doing 2 nights. First night, according to the venue, he racially abused a member of their staff from the stage. They cancelled him for the second night. He was due to play a venue capacity 500. From all the publicity he got for that cancelling, he got to play the Hammersmith Apollo capacity 4,000. That taught him, didn't it? He won't be making that mistake again, will he? So now you've got a lot of people who are saying they've been cancelled, when in fact the truth of it is that they were actually just too shit to get booked in the first place. I myself have been cancelled from playing Wembley Stadium and also for going for a dump just before my wife cleans her teeth. But as for what we can say on a British stage, all governed by the Public Order Act 1986, an act which no comedian in this country has ever been prosecuted under. So we can say what the fuck we like up here, provided we don't upset the venue, yeah? Don't mention the glass porch, don't mention the 6 million refurbishment, don't mention that if you go quite a bit this way, yeah, sooner or later you actually go out of the light, right? Provided you don't mention any of those things, you're going to be absolutely fine, yeah? Because often, the rights that we do have in this country, we take them for granted, don't we? There was a Chinese comic not so long ago. They said to their audience, they said, "Oh, I've got 2 new dogs." They said, "I've decided to call them Fight to Win, yeah, Forge Exemplary Conduct." Apparently went okay on the night, not so well the next day, yeah? This person has now been locked up indefinitely, banned from ever performing again, fined the equivalent of 2 million quid. Why? Because Fight to Win, Forge Exemplary Conduct are 2 of the mottos of the Chinese military. It'd be like me going to you tonight, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I've got 2 new dogs. I've decided to call them Be the Best and Who Do You Think You're Kidding, Mr. Hitler?" Huh? And when I started off in comedy, mainstream were doing fat, racist, mother-in-law jokes. And if you watch enough comedy, you'll notice that still elements of the mainstream are still doing some fat, racist misogyny. But now often, usually only on subscription streaming services. But there's still, new victim groups can be found. You'll notice, very popular at the moment, to have a go at vegans. Oh, look at them out there, they go. Yeah, probably too weak to even put their hand up to admit they are one. But I think it's brilliant. We have people in this country willing to risk their own health for the benefit of everybody. Because vegans, what do they risk? They risk vitamin B12 deficiency, iron deficiency, and a condition called leaky gut. Genuine condition. Leads to constipation and diarrhoea. And I think we can agree that's a tricky combination, isn't it? You don't know whether to have rehydration salts or prunes, do you? You feel a little fart brewing, you don't know if it's the promised land or Armageddon. And I think people have a go at vegans, don't they? Because they think they're sanctimonious bastards. But the vegans I know, very diffident, humble people. They've come round for a meal, they don't want to put you to too much trouble. And I hope if I was a vegan, I'd be the same, you know. Maybe I'd go round to a mate's house for dinner and maybe they'd made an honest mistake. Maybe they were trying to cook me up, let's say, a plant burger in a pan that already had some sausages in it, let's say, you know. I don't think I'd make them start again, because to me, it would be more ecological not to, you know, because it would save, wouldn't it? Save on food, save on waste, save on electricity, save on effort, and also it would just have a little hint of sausage. You know?